Welcome!
Welcome to the Omniverse of Nick, and part 4 to What If Clara Survived. Before we get into it, be sure to check out the Omniverse's homepage where our channel mascot Omni will direct you to the Discord, all the Google Docs, and everything the Omniverse has to offer, along with smashing the like button, subscribing to the Omniverse of Nick, sharing the Omniverse around and turning on all Omniversal notifications, and commenting future requests and expectations in the comment section. With all that said, let's begin. We open up where we ended off last time, with the introduction to Terminus, and the group enters it the same way they did. They're introduced to Gareth and everybody there, but then things go bad, and then they end up in the train car with everybody else. And then Rick says they're screwing or effing with the wrong people, depending on how you want him to say it in this timeline, or just at all. So, yeah. And then Carol is the savior and blows up Terminus and saves everybody. But whenever the people that Rick and everybody try to get out of the train car that are still in there, whenever they try to rescue him and that dude scares Rick and ends up dying to the walker, Clara is the one to protect Rick and kill the dude herself, showing that Clara's finally, alongside killing one of the claimers, she's finally getting into the mood and mindset of killing people. Then we get reunited with Carol, Tyrese, and Judith, and figure out that Carol saved them all and is now back with the group. Rick and Carl get to see that Judith is alive, and thank God for that. And all the group decides they're going to leave Terminus alone and go to Washington. Rick and Tara, whenever they are talking and, give a fist pound and everything, Clara approaches her and is about to talk to her about Lily, but she can't bring herself to say it. So Michonne says it for her and tells Tara about what happened with Lily and that she did survive, but she sacrificed herself against a group that they almost died to. But she really did mean to come back to her, but there was no other way. And she wanted to tell Tara that she did it for the family and that she didn't feel any sense of purpose anymore. So she sacrificed herself to save them. Tara just holds out her fist and says, "It's cool, guys. I would have done the same thing, probably." And Lily, she was just like that, especially after Megan. And once that's all settled, we go to Father Gabriel and them saving him, but suspicion still arises with trusting him, even with the things that have happened in the story. They still can't really trust him. Meanwhile, while they're at the church and everything goes on, Daryl and Carol find the car and it goes by to where they took Beth. So they travel to Atlanta, and that whole journey plays out the same exact way. All leading to Bob still getting bitten at the pharmacy, or the place where everybody went. And then he gets kidnapped by Gareth and everybody. It's figured out that he was bit, his legs cut off, and the whole plan of Gareth and them going to the church is enabled. And then we get to the realization that Gabriel locked out his congregation, and that there's more to Gabriel than has met the eye. And then Gareth and everybody shows up at the church, and Rick and everybody get a plan set in motion for whenever Gareth and them get there. Rick holds up his end of the promise that he made to Gareth and kills him with the red machete, and everybody else dies. Abraham, at this point, even though this scene happened beforehand, he still gets into, a war of words with Rick about going to Washington and not staying here and waiting for Daryl and Carol and their people. But somehow I think that it would maybe be dialed down in this timeline with Rick being slightly lighter of a person. But overall, I feel that this war of words wouldn't really change much. Then we cut to Eugene, Abraham, Glenn, Maggie, and Tara and Rosita all going with Eugene to Washington, and it figured out that Eugene lied about the whole thing. And Beth and Carol are there at Dawn's hospital, and that whole thing plays up until Rick and the group find out about everything that happened and stage a rescue mission for the both of them. And of course, Noah as well, because he eventually, joins and that whole thing. Gabriel tries to get out of the church and go see what happened at the school. But then it leads to him having to come back to the church and realizing that he done messed up. Rick, Sasha, Tyrese, Clara, Daryl, and everybody else who went to Dawn's hospital and, encountered her group and the cops and everything, that plays up till the same way. Up until Dawn wants Noah to stay with her, and Beth confronts her. But this time, there's a big change. Clara can see that Beth's about to do something, and she senses that the second that she does, Dawn is going to kill her, most likely. Even if it's by accident, she could just feel that this is not a smart move by Beth at all. So, her suspicions are proven right. Beth stabs Dawn with a pair of scissors, but it does nothing. And by accident, not even a shift in focus of the face of Dawn is showing that she's brutally going to purposely kill her, but her fingers are on the trigger of the gun she's holding, and it's going straight towards Beth's head. So Clara acts out of instinct and just lunges towards Dawn and stabs her with the blade square in the head, saving Beth's life by mere seconds before the gun goes off and hits the roof. So, just mere seconds before Beth was about to die. Amanda says this was all Dawn, and there's no reason for any more of them to die. Rick, being a lighter person because of Beth, Clara, and, several people living and different things going on, he is definitely not going to be as broken, battered, or, violent. Yes, he still did bite Joe's throat out, and he's still done things, but he's shown that because of these small little shifts, especially with Clara, he's a much different officer friendly, and that's part of him is still there. So he still asks them if they want to join him and his group, but they're not staying here because of what Dawn and her people have done. Even if Beth lived, they're not staying here because why? Why would they? So, with Amanda and all the cops refusing and everything still because of reasons, Rick, it's not like I haven't made the cops appear and join the group before, but just in this sense, there's absolutely no reason. So, with that said, Rick and the group just go off and just leave the hospital. But as they're going to leave, Maggie and everybody else show up. But this time, it's the sister reunion that we never got. Maggie and Beth reunite. And Maggie looks at Clara after Clara tells her what happened. And Maggie just hugs her out of sheer joy and just pure happiness and glee, saying, "Thank you. You saved my sister's life. If no one else thinks so, you've earned your place, Clara." And Clara just smiles with the most joy and smile and happiness on her face since she was rescued by Rick. This would be a tearful and happy moment for our group. Then we get to Noah's hometown, and Tyrese and Noah go to Noah's house. But when Tyrese is attacked and about to be bitten, Noah saves him out of one pure condition. Beth is alive. And being great friends with Noah and, not having too much interaction with Tyrese, but still being a good friend with him, this just leads me to think that Tyrese would not be bitten in this sense. So, yeah, Tyrese lives too. So then we cut to the Season 5 Walking Dead group with a few extra added bonuses. Beth, Tyrese, and Clara are all survivors in this case. Usually in these stories, I have way more survivors, especially the longer tales. But in this sense, It's just 3. It's Clara. Like Amy, there's not too much that she can do, except very small things and very happy and, good moments. But overall, these characters are good enough, just the 3 of them surviving, than a million that in many stories did not do much. So, you take what you can get. But anyways, we then cut to the barn and everybody having to hole up in there, and that all leading to Aaron being introduced and the prospect of Alexandria. Will the group be as delighted to join? Will Rick trust Aaron more because of what he's been through? And what will be the future focus of going in to the future of Clara's survival?
Now get out!
What?
Get out! Everybody get out!